Hello, everybody. Welcome on my YouTube channel. I am Veronica Patic, and today I am really excited to introduce you with my friend Tony Jones. Hi, Tony.
Hey Veronica, how you doing? You well?
I'm doing great. Thank you. I have a long period of time since I was interviewing people last time, and I am a bit excited and emotionally, I have a state of excitement and emotions and all together.
I know perfectly know what you mean. Yeah, for sure. Been looking forward
Yes.
to it. It's been good. Thank you for inviting me on.
Thank you. Yeah, we are both students at the same digital and marketing platform. And
Yeah,
what is amazing about this community is that each and every one of us going through our journey of starting and building our businesses, we are very open and happy to share our experience and help each other. So I had a
indeed.
discussion. Yeah, I had a discussion prior to this interview with Tony, and he helped me a lot, sharing his experience and knowledges on running his podcast together with his friends. So Tony, can you introduce yourself and also tell us what is the motivation to run this podcast, please?
Yes, certainly. So I'm a married father of two. I'm in my mid-40s ish now. And as you've alluded to, I'm a member of the same sort of digital marketing educational community. And it's through the connections I've fostered during my time with that community that I've found my tribe, as we say, and a big passion of mine. I love listening to podcasts. I have done for many years, whether I'm out running, in the car, just if I'm sat at my desk working. I've generally got a podcast on or an audio book or something in my ears listening to, whether it's a personal development book, sports related, music, just a general audio book, anything like that. I love to absorb. I just enjoy absorbing material of all genres and descriptions through my ears. It allows me to multitask. Whether it takes time out, and everyone has a busy day, like family time. I find it difficult just to get like a period of time just to sit in peace and just read a book. I enjoy reading books, I really do. But I can get so much more content in between my ears via audio, typically podcasts. And so it's something I've always wanted to do for a long time, but never thought I'd be someone that would actually create or look to create a podcast. But connecting and finding my tribe during for the community that we're both a member of, I soon began to find people who enjoy similar interests, like you say, similar like-minded people. And I just got chatting one day saying, I was sharing some podcasts that I listened to with some friends of mine, Casper and Mark. And I said to them, look, guys, and this was just as the UK lockdown first kicked in March last year in 2020, just as the pandemic hit, and we were starting to sort of everyone's got to stay at home. I was thinking, well, I said to them, guys, look, now we're all at home and whatnot, why don't we just create our own podcast? And I put it to Mark, I think, and then I said to Casper, and I know Casper is really good into he's from a media background, audio video production. He's a freelancer in that respect. So me and Mark put it to Casper, and everyone said, what a fantastic idea. And they all said the same thing. This is something I've wanted to do for ages. And then we've all had the same idea. And we thought, well, what's stopping us? We're in lockdown, we're at home, let's do it. So there we were. That was sort of that's the fire that was ignited between the three of us. And we just wanted to put it together and just research and see what we could do. We had the necessary skills. Mark's a graphic designer by trade, so he could do all the artwork for the podcast. Casper's good with audio and video editing and production and does that, so he takes care of that. I took care of sort of researching the publishing side of it, and taking care of the production end, like the back end bits and bobs. So as a team, we work really well together. We found we've utilised our existing skill sets to then bring all the elements of the podcast to life. And with a matter of a week or two, we had a podcast running. We recorded the first episode between ourselves, and we brainstormed about what the podcast was going to be called, what was going to be the general theme and feel of it. And as we were all part of the same community, it was all about trying to find that freedom through digital business and starting your own online business. And so and there was three of us. So just to play on the words from the old spaghetti western about the three amigos, we then used the three amigos in terms of how to find freedom. So, and then we started to connect and interview other people within the community about what freedom means to them. And that's basically what we're there. And we're almost up now to be our first anniversary, or in about a month's time, and it's flown by, and it's been fantastic. It's been a real passion project for the three of us. It's something we've always wanted to do, and to the fact that I know that the term gets turning a crisis into an opportunity. Being put into lockdown really made an opportunity for us to be able to do this from home, because we try and do it maybe once a week, and it's been really good. So it motivates us to, even if we can share some insights from ourselves and some of the amazing guests we've had on the podcast, if that can resonate with just one person out there and make a difference in their life, or help them alter their thinking on a particular subject, then we are extremely grateful for that.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's amazing, actually. I think deep inside ourselves, we all have this desire to help and support people. And yes, sometimes it sounds like a cliche, everybody speaking about that and how sincere we are. But I think we all are looking for fulfillment in life. And from my experience, nothing is more fulfilling when you manage to do something good for other people, because you get a reward in form of their happiness, the recognition of that indeed your expression, your service, your support changed their life and made an impact. It's not like change life in general, but at least made their life a bit easier. And,
yeah, totally. And we're here to serve. Everyone's seeking to some sort of freedom in their life, whether they're in an online business space, they're 9 to 5. Everyone wants, who doesn't want an element of freedom, whatever that means to each individual in their life. I think we'd all share that same goal, and freedom means different things to different people, or whatever the situation is in life. And we're trying to create that through digital business at the moment, but also we've tried to expand that and talk on different themes and topics in around. So we've tried to expand our reach and the conversation outside just about online business as the podcast has progressed, and we've touched on other themes like we've just had a lady on, like you'll know from Curls, from the community, talking about like childhood trauma. We've had Danny Ham on talking about stuff from his past and like addiction and abuse and the spirals that can have, and how you can turn your life around, have positive that, and have gratitude and commitment, stuff like that. A lot of what we talk about all definitely comes down into mindset, and the people that we talk to all share and have that like-minded, positive mindset. They have their positive outlook at life. They may have had trouble past, some of them, people, but they're all here to make a change, not only in their own life, but people lives in and around them, whether that's the family, friends, or the wider internet community. And that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to share insights, experiences, positivity, so people can, like I say, even if you don't necessarily think about these things, it just makes you just pause for a second, think, yeah, actually, I appreciate what's been mentioned there, and that's maybe alter my way of thinking, whether it be good or bad, hopefully for the good. Then that's what we're doing, or trying to do at least.
Yes, and I like how you just described your guests at your podcast. And I was listening a few of them as my time allows me. And yes, it's really inspiring when you can hear people who are starting starting their online businesses with one desire to find freedom. And we see mostly that we believe, at least from our old experience, that freedom means to have more money and flexibility and do what you want with your life, to dedicate more time with your family or travel or do what you like.
Yeah.
But in time, when you start going through this education and when you are surrounded with people on this in this space, you can see that something interesting is happening. And it is that every one of us, we discover something unique within us, which is starting flourishing, blossoming within us. And we start expressing our unique gifts and talents in the way that makes us feel good. And also we think that we can bring value through our activity online.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, and it's all about, that's the fundamental thing that everything we do is giving values and serving other people unselfishly with value, making their lives better in some way, shape or form, and hopefully bringing the element of freedom to their lives if you can. We do this podcast not to make money. It's not for profit. We don't monetize it in any way, shape or form. It's pure 100% unadulterated value that we try to give and bring from ourselves and our own musings, but most importantly from our guests. We try to put them front and center of the podcast. They're the stars of the show. But we always try to treat it whenever we bring on, we invite a guest on, or if a guest asks to come on to the podcast, and we get some people, especially when we invite some people who've never done a podcast, thinking they could be quite anxious or nervous about it. We say, look, just relax. It's fine. All it's going to be is just a conversation between friends. It's just going to be recorded. That's all it is. And amazing, just sort of putting it in and shaping and framing the podcast in that context. It can really put people at ease that might have a bit of anxiety. And it's amazing once you start engaging, and especially because it's not just a dialogue like between two people. You've got an element. There's myself, Casper and Mark are three quite different individuals. We're very like-minded in a lot of ways, but we have differences of opinion on other things. And having that mixture of ingredients and then throw in a guest or two as well. It's no two podcasts has been the same so far for us, and it's nice that then we can have different threads and different questions because we are different personalities ourselves as the three hosts, the three amigos, and yeah, it's really good. We do it because we love to do it, and not because it's not done out to make money. It's not a money-making opportunity or venture between us. We did it because we just love podcasts. We'd always wanted to create a podcast, and we thought, what the hell, let's make a podcast. There's no excuse. Anyone can do this out there in this day and age. As we know, online business, the internet is the ultimate level that anyone can get on board. All you need is a microphone, phone, and you're good to go, really, and an internet connection, and you can create a podcast. Anyone can do it, and it's it just gets you out there. Yeah, go on, Veronica.
That's amazing. I was just listening to you, and you touched very sensitive points for me, for myself, because I'm a career advisor. I'm developing a career coaching program, and you mentioned about the skills, and you said that anybody can do that. And also you mentioned that people are coming to your podcast and they are nervous and anxious, and they set high expectations. They think they have to be somebody else than they are, and they start, a lot of chemical reaction in our bodies happens when we don't have this experience,
Yeah, indeed. And it's thinking as well, we're only asking just for a conversation. I'm not asking you to sort of dance on the spot or entertain us or do a magic trick or whatever. It's just purely, we're inviting you on because we like the type of person you are. We think you've got value to share, you've got experiences and a story to share, who you are and so let's just share it. Let's just have a conversation on that, and let's put it out there to the world. Because from our last episode with curls, it's obviously a very serious subject matter in terms of childhood trauma. but there might be people out there obviously going through a similar experience as what she had, that might be hearing to what Coles has been through herself and how she's helping her clients now through her own trauma therapy and coaching courses, that might actually bring people to Curls, and then Curls she can bring value to them people. It's fantastic. And I think it brings people out their shells a lot. In terms of the guests, but also people in terms of might be listening thinking, well, you know what, if they've been through a similar experience to me and now they're on the other side now and they've turned their life around, they're doing something positive with their life, they may ask that question to themselves and saying, yeah, why can't I? You know what I mean? Sometimes people might feel a victim, have that victim mindset. They said, have excuses, so I can't do that, or there's whatever, the 1,001 reasons why they can't do something. But if we can just change the life of one person and change their thinking and their mindset, saying, yeah, I can do that, or yeah, that person's made a change, that we share similarities, but they've done a 180 and now they've got a positive outlook and they're doing something good with their lives and they're helping others and bringing value to other people. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yes, and this is the beauty of this type of share. That can be videos. I'm doing videos, you are doing audio, but you know, when we participate in these discussions and dialogues and we go public, it is something interesting happening to us as individuals, because we are very shy, timid. We are thinking about, we care too much about other people's opinion, how they will perceive us, what they're going to think about that. And you know, that stops us to express ourselves as we are, because of those, you know, limiting beliefs about ourselves. But
oh yeah, 100, definitely.
Yeah, but this is an amazing exercise, I think, for anybody to practice, because when you go through these experiences, which we both are doing, and a lot of other people and friends of ours, then you start getting back your confidence, which you maybe lost years ago because of our life circumstances, events in life. And we sometimes lose our confidence, and we need external improvement, external acknowledgement in order for us to start expressing ourselves in a free manner. So yes, this is actually what I've discovered for myself. And also when we invite people to share, people even who don't do these recordings and don't publish, but we know from our experience and knowing them personally that they have great values. And it's nice to, and it feels good to promote these people, discuss with them, and let them feel themselves proud of themselves and raise their self-confidence, self-esteem. And yes, it's amazing to use and leverage these technologies in this way.
Oh, I couldn't agree more yet. A lot of people, like say, we all have limiting beliefs at times. I'm definitely no different than that, and having the self-esteem and the confidence to feel like you can put yourself out there in a public space like this, share your views, your opinions, and what you perceive to be lack of value. Sometimes I find that could be quite subjective, because you might share something on a podcast to say as a guest, and you might be quite flippant to think that's absolutely no value in that. But to someone else out there, that could be, that's just what I needed to hear today.
Yes.
And you just don't know necessarily the effect you have on other people, and the reach and the share and the exposure you can have by having a podcast, a YouTube channel, anything that's internet based, that you can reach a global audience now. There's going to be someone out there who's going to resonate with what you said, even if you don't feel like. I think sometimes we don't always give ourselves enough backing in how we feel that, I've got nothing to share, I've got nothing of value, who's going to listen to whatever I've got to say. And it never ceases to surprise me that there is always that someone out there who's going to want to listen, or who thinks you've got value, who who can be affected in a positive way by what you can share and the value. Everyone has value, everyone has a purpose, everyone has something they can bring to someone else and make someone else's life better. And that brings me a lot of fulfillment if I know I can have that positive effect on other people, and the podcast can particularly. And that's all why we do it. It's we want to help people discover that they can have freedom, they can do things, that anything's possible if you just have the correct mindset and attitude about doing things that, I suppose, take you out of your comfort zone as well. It's not always easy, like you say, to put yourself out there in a public space on your YouTube channel. That still scares me now, just being on video and stuff, and having an audio and doing an audio only podcast. I suppose you're putting yourself out there to be critiqued, aren't you, at the end of the day? But that's the price you pay, and that's one of the sacrifices you make when you do this type of thing. That not everyone's going to like what you listen, but it doesn't matter. If it only just takes one person, if there's like a million people don't like it, but just one person does, and you can positively affect them, then that's fine. I'm okay with those odds, and we'll continue to do the podcast on that basis for sure.
Yes, and it's interesting and beautiful that this process teaches us to love ourselves, accept who we are with our faults, good and bad and mistakes and everything.
No one's perfect, are they?
and trusting ourselves, believing in ourselves, and it helps.
Yeah.
It helps to see the life in a different angles. It is more fulfilling, and our life is getting more rich, emotionally even.
Yeah, totally. It's and sometimes you've got to see life, your own life as well, and love yourself a bit more than you probably should. I think I find myself included that sometimes other people love you more than you necessarily love yourself, and
yes,
and that just goes back to, like you said, mindset, self-belief, limiting beliefs. But through the process of doing the podcast, I've definitely feel more confident. I can be quite introverted just by nature, and it's not always necessarily easy for me to put myself out there, especially with new people I don't know or not familiar with. You sometimes have to you get that chameleon syndrome where you try and act how you think they want you to be, not necessarily who you naturally are.
That's big.
Yeah, it is. And it's definitely something I try to do better. Just be yourself. If people like you, they'll like you. If don't be trying to be something that you're not, because that will. You can't sustain that, can you? That's having that alter ego. I've read good podcasts. I can't remember what it was now. Who did the podcast? No, it's lost my mind. But it was talking to the author of the book, The Alter Ego, and how people put on different egos for different situations. So they might have one at work, one at home, professional. And I think we do it without realizing it sometimes, that just we adjust our personality and our behaviors and our traits based on the circle of influence, or the environment we find ourselves in. But I'm definitely, as I get older now, I'm in my middle ages. I'm not 20 anymore. I'm like 43, and I've learned to sort of accept to who I am. And if people don't like that, then I say to myself, that's more their problem, not mine.
That's a huge progress. Actually, people may live a life till the end and yet deal in that alter ego without realizing that they went through life, but they even didn't live the life truly, authentically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, perfect. Authentically. That's the perfect thing, the word there, because they're being unauthentic to themselves because they're trying to appease others and I've guilty of that in years gone by, but I'm less so these days. I'm definitely more of the case, like take it or leave what you see. If you don't like it, move on. If not, fantastic, we'll go like a house on fire. And I think it's something we learn from the community society, is about honing and keeping that circle of influence around you that takes you up a level all the time and doesn't drag you down.
Yes, but you understand actually, from myself, what you just say, I can resonate totally with that, because you understand this world is as it is, and it's not necessarily to trying to change something what you have no control of, and when you realize that you don't have power to influence external circumstances, but when you understand the only power you have to change and create your destiny, your life, then you feel that you take your power back and you can choose to stay or to leave if you are not happy at the workplace or in some circumstances where you are with people, relationship, and all. It depends on the situation. So when you understand that you cannot change other people, external circumstances, then you feel released from a lot of expectations or trying to please somebody. Yeah, that feels good, because you feel you have control of your life and you take your power back and you take decisions and you can look for alternatives. And that gives a sense of liberation.
Yeah, that's free. Like I said, again, that goes back to what we're saying. That gives you freedom, doesn't it? You're free to be yourself. You control, you take responsibility for your own internal actions, internal well-beings, because you can't, like I say, you can't control every external factor in your life and your environment. There's certain things you can, but you can control who you are and how you feel and how you behave and how you conduct yourself and how you put yourself out there to other people and externally. You are responsible for that 100%. And I think that's something I've learned more so in the last few years, to be the ultimate, take ultimate responsibility for who I am, and not, I was guilty of, when I was a lot younger, of having that victim mentality and blaming everyone and everything else for if something in my life isn't how I wanted it to be. And it basically boils down, you're just making excuses, aren't you? You know what I mean? I'm an adult, and every adult should take responsibility for themselves, and you're not a child anymore.
Exactly.
Kids and children rely on other people. And
exactly, yeah.
When you're an adult,
a sign of maturity.
Well, thank you. I've got there slowly. I'm in my 40s. I'm almost there. It's taken a while, but yeah, it is a sign of maturity, and recognizing that, we're all human, we're all fallible, we're all going to have things that we don't like that we can continue to work on. We're not perfect beings, and no one is. But just owning 100% of responsibility for your own actions, your own thoughts, good and bad, and accept that things happen in your world that you can't control. They're out of your control. And appreciate those things that you can control as well. It's definitely helped my outlook on life, family, friends, and business as well, and work-wise for sure. It's I definitely have a lot more gratitude for things these days than I have done a few years ago, even, for sure. Once I take responsibility, just it boils down to just growing, like I say, growing up and being mature, being an adult about things in life.
Oh, Tony, you even can't imagine how important things you are touching here, because gratitude is huge. Actually, it is transformational. When you start being grateful for what you have, for your wife, for your children, for everything around, then your life is changing a lot. You become more open to more blessings to come into your life. You don't sabotage yourself with lack of acceptance, because abundance is all around us. And when you start being grateful, then it's like you unlock more opportunities for your life to attract those that abundance in your life. And it is happening through gratitude.
Yes.
And it is something that I'm teaching my children, because, they always compare themselves with other children. New smartphone, clothes, new opportunities.
Oh, yes.
Yes. A car, or a lot of desires, which, of course, I can't tell them, don't think about, I don't cut them I want them to have those desires and aspire for them, but also teaching them to be grateful for what we have.
I think, yeah, I couldn't agree more if I tried. It's something I came from. I do come from a big family. I'm one of 9 children, youngest with a twin brother. So I grew up in a small 3-bedroom terrace council house. I say 11 people with my mum and dad in there. But I had a fantastic childhood. I didn't know any different, obviously. Being the youngest, we were probably allowed to get away with a few more things as well. But I only have fond and happy memories of growing up and being from a big family. But there's certain things that I just couldn't have, that, like you say, when you compare yourself with your friends and your peers at school, like that I maybe missed out. Like we didn't ever used to go on holiday anywhere. So come to some holidays, we'd be at home or just days out here and there, because there's just too many of us just to go abroad or go to the seaside or whatever it was. So I'm cognizant of that, and that's something I wouldn't swap my childhood. I wouldn't go through it and do it again at all. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm grateful for now that I can provide stuff for. I've got 2 young daughters, and I'm grateful to be able to give them stuff that necessarily I couldn't do. So I've always had a desire to travel as soon as I could. When I was old enough, when I was 17, to go on a plane and go abroad, I jumped at the chance and did it. And I love to travel and see new places and experience new cultures and adventures now. And we've done that a lot with my 2 girls, as much as I can. Like I say to my eldest, she's 10. She turned 10 in December. I said, you've been abroad in more places and countries by the time you're sort of 6 or 7 than I had done by the time I was 17, because I didn't go abroad till I was 17 for the very first time. And I say, look, just be grateful. It's like not every child gets to go on holiday in the UK, let alone abroad. So just be grateful for stuff like the fact you have your own bedroom. Like I shared a bedroom with my 2 brothers until I was 16. So just
exactly
having that,
like me.
yeah, and that was fine. I knew different. It was great. But I say to her, look, you've got a nice home, safe neighborhood. You go to a really good school. We've moved house so you can go to a better school.
Yeah.
Me and my wife, we do everything we do for you 2 girls. And just sometimes it's just, I know they're only young and sometimes they've got to enjoy it, but sometimes I try to express and that you have to show appreciation. Manners is huge for me. That's number one. Like if they don't say please and thank you for anything, they don't get it. That is the golden rule with me. And manners and being polite and having respect for people. We call them magic words in our house.
Yeah.
Because they can do magic for you. If you say please and thank you, magic will happen. If you don't, it's going to be a sad, sorry state of affairs for you. So just showing just small, and let's say sometimes when you want less, you have more.
Yeah.
That's something I've learned as I've got older, because I was definitely quite materialistic when I was younger. I still am to a certain degree. I'm a huge geek. I like gadgets and toys and these sort of big boy toys, but I don't want from as much as I used to when I was a bit younger. For me now, I want the best things I can do for my kids, and if I can provide and give them the best things in life without spoiling them, that's not what I don't want to spoil them and don't want them that they expect things. And I still want to have gratitude and be appreciative. And I think I hope we'll get in there anyway, for sure.
And that builds a healthy foundation for their entire life.
Yes.
Yeah. Wonderful. And I do the same with my children.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. I think it's really important, isn't it?
It is important. Otherwise, they are getting in trouble, and they sabotage, as I said, their relationships in the future with all kinds of people. Yes. And this is about gratitude indeed, and learning to appreciate, respect people. That will improve their skills of building connections and relationships. That key towards success is the quality of our relationships and connections with people.
It is. It's all about connections and your tribes and your circle of influence. It's massive. And if you can grow up with that sense of gratitude and appreciation for what you have, what you don't have, sometimes it's probably even more so, and not to set expectations on people, because a lot of the time, in my experience, people don't live up to your expectations. That we project on others.
We do.
They haven't asked for that projection, but we project on others, and I find more often not they'll disappoint you. They won't hit your expectations. So again, it goes back to owning being responsible for yourself and not for others. It's if everyone did that, the world would be a much better place. And I say if you can set those foundations in your kids now, whilst they're in their formative years and they're growing up, and nothing brings me more makes me more proud as a father when I go to parents' evenings and they'll say to them oh, Lydia's done very well, and she seems very mature for her age, and she's always very polite, and she always asks if she can help. And I think that's fantastic. That shows that as a parent, me and my wife we're doing what we're supposed to do as parents, and that's bring up well-mannered, appreciative, polite children. And because I think that can do wonders for the rest of your life if you even just have those foundations and values in life.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I can resonate with what you're saying, because when I go to parents' evening, I also get these compliments because my
It's great, isn't it?
Yes, it feels good. You fly, you fly back home after these meetings.
It is, and that's all you ever want. You ask your kids that you can form them. Obviously, they're their own people; they're not robots. But if you can teach those fundamentals and instill those values in from them, I think you're fulfilling your role as a parent to them, and that again back to responsibility. They're your responsibility. They're your kids and children to bring them up. And I feel a lot of times when you see, and you might have this with your kids and some of their classmates, that there's always the naughty ones in the class, aren't there? Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of kids aren't born naughty. For me, they learn that habit and that attitude and that from a nurture standpoint from their parents. I think that's just my opinion. I know it may not be everyone's opinion, but I definitely feel that kids aren't born to be naughty or troublesome. They learn that, or they're allowed to learn that, and that for me anyway.
Yeah. Wow, that's nice about parenting.
Yes. Sorry, we got off topic there.
That's nice, because I think people who are listening, they go through the same experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe are going to be parents or are already parents. But yeah, I wanted to ask you a specific question about, because we are going through this economic recession and so many people are losing their jobs, and some of us are quite confused, lost their confidence and sense of certainty in our life at the moment, because we lost the control, of this what is going on, and you see that you have no power to influence circumstances, even though we have power to influence our life.
Yes.
So if there are people who would like to start a podcast, what advice would you give to these people? Encouragement or mindset, or think about yourself and your friends. How did you start? And if somebody would like to start the same business model as you do now, what advice would you give them?
I would definitely recommend, if you can, find friends that share a same sort of passion or subject or topic that you can form your podcast around. Because I definitely find it's enjoyable bouncing that conversation off people and having different perspectives on different guests. Because definitely from my perspective, I quite enjoy listening to people talk. I don't necessarily always fire being the prompt to answer new questions and this, that, and the other. So I like sometimes to sit back, observe, absorb, and then okay, I want to ask that question from that. Mark and Casper, especially, them guys are really good at sort of initiating the conversation and turning and forming the theme of a particular podcast with a guest. So having that mixture of character and personality is really good. So if you can find people who are like-minded, who share the same interests and passions that you can talk about, that's fantastic. If you can listen to other podcasts that you like to listen to and see how they do it, in terms of their production, maybe the mindset, the vibe they give off. You can learn a lot by listening to others and just observing other podcasts, which I do anyway. Like I say, I just enjoy listening to podcasts. Mark and Casper the same. We enjoy it, which is one of the reasons why we decided to do one together, because it's something we've always wanted to do. So you've got to want to do it as well. Don't just get into this just purely as a business to make money for anything, because you might not have the longevity. It's got to be something you form from a basis of a passion or an interest or something around a particular subject you want to talk about. Because if you want a podcast, you want it for the long term, you're going to keep putting out regular content. And if it's not something you're interested, or you're just in there to make money, and you're not going to make money from podcast episode number 1, are you? Unless you're Joe Rogan or someone like that. It's just, and Spotify come in and sign you up. It's just, that's just not going to happen. So you're going to have patience as well. You're going to have technical hurdles, not major technical hurdles. Don't get me wrong. If you've got a mobile phone, which everyone has, set of headphones which you got with your phone, if you can invest in a microphone, even better. There's lots of podcasts publishing platforms out there that are free to start with, that will allow you to record and publish your podcast directly on their website or the mobile app. So take your time to have a look around at what other podcasts are doing, where they form. We use a platform called Patic, which I really like. It's really easy to use. It pushes out your podcast then, and learn the mechanics and the structure of the back end. It's all about, okay, I can record, I can interview someone, I can record some audio, but unless you can publish it and get it out to the world, it's not great. Like I say, obviously you're doing a video one on YouTube, which is fantastic. So people, if they're comfortable going on video, definitely get yourself on YouTube, because I think it's a fantastic platform. But video is not going to be for everyone. Some people might, like more myself, might like that just you can just hear me, you can't see me, but you can just listen to me, that's fine. So research your platform, research different podcasts, audio and video, do some market research, see what other people do, see what feels right to you, or you feel like you could replicate in some way, shape or form, or do your take on it. Look into the publishing side of things, and find the right platform, whether you want to. Some have like premium models that you might want to invest money. If you don't, just pick one of the free ones, and just put something out there and see how it goes, and just start it. You're never going to be a podcaster unless you create your first episode. And like someone said to me 12 months ago, you'll be part of a podcast that's going to be running for 12 months. What? No, you get away with it. It's crazy. Yeah. But it's only because we took the decision between the three of us saying, should we do it then? Yeah, let's do it. Okay. And that's it. That was the green light was put up, and we got on with it. And I suppose just lucky having two friends that who they are, had similar interests, similar passions to create a podcast, and have the existing skills that they have that we're able to adapt to creating a podcast was fantastic. So yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. And when we want to start something new we never done, we might procrastinate a lot because of lack of confidence.
Yes.
And because we both went through our 90-day video journey on this digital platform, and this personally helped me to get out of my comfort zone. And I remember how uncomfortable I was in front of the camera when I started, and all my body, and I was absolutely
Height.
different person in front of the camera, like something switch on within me, and I'm not the one which I am normally. And it takes so long, so much time to relax and
Yes,
be confident.
and just remember that the camera's not going to bite you, and like I say, the 90-day video journey is such a safe space to learn to be comfortable with yourself in front of the camera, and knowing that you're not going to get people trolling you or saying nasty things about you. It's all going to be positive. It's all going to be encouraging, and that really builds confidence. And it really does, and that's the reason why you have to do it over such a long period of time, because you can't just post sort of 2 or 3 videos, say, yeah, that's it, I'm done, I'm an expert. Nah, you need to have that repetition, that consistency, that longevity, and doing it over 90 videos. I misread it. I thought you had to do it in 90 days. So I did it in 90 days. Some days I really didn't want to post a video at all. I was like, no, I don't want to do it. No. But I had that integrity in myself that I've signed up. I've committed to do it in 90 days. And actually that held me accountable, that it forced me to do a video when I didn't always want to do it, which was quite a lot of the time. But it's such a fantastic exercise to do. And it was through that experience that I made some of the fantastic connections, and now people are now called friends from that community, such as Mark and Casper, to do the podcast. And
Yes.
I'm grateful, very grateful to have done it.
And that is a safe space to be vulnerable and open up. And when other participants are doing the same thing with themselves, opening up, sharing their thoughts or transformation they are going through, because we are connected between us, we influence each other. So we give ourselves permission, and we allow ourselves also to open up and be more authentic. So that is an amazing space to train and to practice finding your authenticity.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's because it's not easy from the first video, is it? You were totally not just being yourself. I've yet to see anyone post video number 1 of 90 and they're like, yeah, look at me, I've got this. It just doesn't happen, does it? It's really, unless they're experienced, I don't know, TV presenter or something like that, then yeah, everyone's quite rigid and fixed and nervous and anxious and feeling a bit of overwhelm and something, what's everyone going to say? Until you start reading comments and people liking it and saying, oh, that was great, you're doing really well. And I say that slowly, momentum and your confidence starts rising, the anxiety starts coming down the opposite way. And it's and doing that, and like I say, if in terms and back onto the podcasts, even if you just, here's a good tip as well, especially if you're just doing an audio only podcast or in a video one, you just record yourself either on video or like do an audio note, pretending you're interviewing one, or get a family or friend member that you can interview, and then just listen to it back and see how it flows, and that you can improve, share it with other people, get some comments back and feedback from that, and areas that you can improve. Because the more you do this, the more practice that you do, the polish will become. And let's say we could probably listen back to some of our first pods now. It probably sounds a bit clunk here and there, but you fail forward, and failure means you progress and you learn, and you keep getting better. And I think any of the big podcasts out there now, their first couple of podcasts or whatever might be total rubbish. They might think they're utter rubbish now because they're so used to doing what they do and they've honed their craft. But yeah, nobody knows how to ride a bike until they know how to ride a bike, do they?
Exactly. Yeah.
And you just got to get on there. And the same with podcasts. No one knows how to do a podcast until they start. Like, don't stop procrastinating. Just get out and just have a go and see how you go. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of ways of doing it these days. You don't need a big radio studio and all the equipment and all the gear and no idea. You can, like I say, if you've got a mobile phone, you can create a podcast yourself. So get out there and do it, guys.
Wonderful. Yeah, indeed. Be courageous and get out of the box and of your comfort zone, and think about sharing something valuable with people. And that will make our fear less important, and we will not focus on us, but we will focus on helping other people. And then you get strength and courage to put yourself out there.
It is, because then you start getting feedback and you're thinking, oh, wow, that was great. I listened to your podcast today and I've taken this X, Y, and Z away from it. And you're thinking, wow, that's fantastic. So like I say, just having that feedback and that confirmation that what you're doing is of value. You can't put a price on that for us. And that's why we do it, because we hope people do enjoy the things that we share, the insights, value. And it can hopefully brighten up people's days here and there.
Indeed, yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Tony, for your share. I really appreciate sharing with us your experience and being so open and sincere as you are.
No, my pleasure. I'm very grateful, and thank you for asking me on here today. It's been fantastic.
Yes, I really think and believe that people can get a lot of insights from our discussion, both in their professional career, if they want to do something online, and also as individuals with our mindset adjusting and improving and starting believing more within ourselves. And that was amazing. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Veronica. It's been fantastic. And like I said, if everyone out there is thinking of starting a podcast and still not entirely sure where, it's like, how do I start? Please hit me up or reach out to myself or Veronica, and we'll happily try and help you and get started as well.
Indeed, you will find the links in the description of this video. So be courageous and start your journey.
Like Nike say, just do it. Just try it. You never know until you try.
Indeed. Thank you very much. We wish you all the best. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.